Agini Wishla, it's more an honour to Fulch or Corrove, Riv or Gidjester to go Fermanagh GAA TV on the radio. A warm welcome to all our listeners tonight on Fermanagh GAA TV, sponsored by Monaghan Brothers, for this Allianz National League Division 3 game between Fermanagh and Aontroim. It's Mr. Ciarán Maguire and I'm joined by Peter McGinnity as we bring you live coverage of tonight's game. After 2 years of our lives being chained and shackled by talk of pandemics, vaccines and lockdowns, I think I can speak for many when I say how glad and privileged we are to be able to get out and support our families, our clubs and our counties. Peter, thank you for joining me on co-commentary tonight, and we were speaking during the week, and I have to say I detected a real sense of excitement from you as we were looking forward to a full set of Allianz League fixtures starting tonight.
Yes, excitement I suppose, Ciarán, tinged with a bit of nervousness, and maybe particularly around this game. Like I reckon the most important game in most competitions is the first game. If it goes badly, then you're on a downer and have to play catch up. If you win, you're boosted and so on. Now, Aontroim will be feeling exactly the same, of course, and as will a lot of all the teams in the National League will be feeling that way. We need to get a win tonight, or today, this weekend.
So we'll get a chance to talk about the teams in a minute or two, but just a word about Ciarán Donnelly in his first year as Fermanagh manager. This is the third competitive game and his first league game, which is at home. It's as you say, it's vitally important to get off to a good start and a good performance as well in front of quite a large crowd that's gathered into Brewster Park. Yes,
I suppose he'd be one of those people who would have benefited from the McKenna Cup. You know, people, downgrade these competitions and so on, but I don't think there are many county team managers who don't enjoy the benefit of seeing players, trying out players and so on. Now, Fermanagh weren't that successful in it, but there were still two competitive games. So Ciarán will be thankful for that, and obviously a bit disappointed after last night. His almost CBS got beaten last night. Now that a bit of a downer.
After a good start as well, I think too. They had the lead, but he's no doubt focused on tonight. So you mentioned Fermanagh's run in here regarding Aontroim. They had a victory over Down in their first game, or they were the victory over Down and were defeated by a strong Donegal team who indeed got to the final. So Aontroim, their second year under Anna McGinnity, a team that's really building.
Yes, had a horrible time there for a number of years. Were relegated on the last day of 2017 in the league by a last gasp point from Longford that relegated them. Spent 3 years then and ended up in third position in Division 4. Each one of them that could have been promoted, maybe should have been promoted, but didn't make it. And now under Anna McGinnity, last year promoted, and this year, you'd imagine that the like of Enda McGinley and Stephen O'Neill and those boys are very ambitious, and they'll be determined to push on. One of the things they've secured already is the fact that most of the players that they would want available are playing, which has been a perennial
that
problem.
is a historical problem in Aontroim, is that they can't get everyone in the one tent.
Yes, and singing off the same hymn sheet. So they have got that. The fact that they're coming up from Division 4, there's a bit of impetus to them. Fermanagh, on the other hand, were disappointed with their league last year.
Well, you mentioned last year for Aontroim Division, their singular goal was to get out of Division 4 last year. I'm sure this year it's remain in Division 3.
Yes. If you weren't Enda McGinley and Stephen O'Neill, I would suggest that that's what you'd be thinking. But I know fine well,
the goals anyway.
And I know those two boys, their first goal will be promotion. They're okay if things change and the landscape changes for them, then they might reassess their goals. But no, I wouldn't think those two boys are thinking much about anything else except winning matches.
So now, Peter, we'll get a chance to go through the teams just as announced 3 minutes before our rendezvous, and we'll start in the Fermanagh team. So on your programme, for anyone following this here, the goalkeeper, of course, Sean McNally from Timor, seems to be established himself as the number one goalkeeper for Fermanagh. Full back line, Johnny Cassidy, Garrett Kavanagh making his league debut, and Luke Flanagan. Half back line is the experienced Aidan Breen, James McMahon and Declan McCusker. In the middle of the field, it's Ryan Jones and Joe McDade, another debutant. Half forward line, Josh Largo Ellis, Brandon Horan and the returning Ryan Lyons, with a full forward line of Kieran Corrigan, Dara McGurn and Sean Quigley. Couple of things just about the Fermanagh team. 2 debutants, we make it, and a couple of returning players, Ryan Jones back into the panel as well as Ryan Lyons.
Look, I think there's a great mix in that Fermanagh team of very experienced players like the half back line, we were talking about it beforehand. The half back line of Aidan Breen, James McMahon, and Decky McCusker. Now, whether they all play in exactly those positions is another thing, but those are three very, very experienced players. Joe McDade, a debutant in the middle of the field, has Ryan Jones with him, and he couldn't ask for any more experience than that. So, look, I'd be. As I say, there's a nervousness about me, but there's an anticipation about the blend that we have now of proven young players and proven experienced players. Now, if we can marry those two things together, we should be moving forward.
Regarding Aontroim, their team wasn't available by the printing deadline, but we have got a copy of it now. Big representation from the county champions, who's Cregan Kickham's. They've 4 players not there. So the goalkeeper is Oisin Kerr, a full back line of Owen McCabe, the experienced Ricky Johnson, and James McCauley. Half back line is number 5, their captain Peter Healy, centre half back James Laverty, and a wing half back Dermot McAleese. In the middle of the field, it's the evergreen Michael McCann as well as Kevin Small, with a half forward line of Ryan Murray, Jamie Gribben and Patrick McBride. In the full forward line, Thomas McCann, Rory McCann and Oran Eastwood. On that Aontroim team, Oran Eastwood is probably one of their marquee forwards. He's the go-to score player. Him along with the experienced Patrick McCann, Thomas McCann and Michael McCann, they have that experience of youth and experience as well, Peter?
Yes, and those boys are all been very, very successful club players. There are an awful lot of good club players in Aontroim. St Gall's won the All-Ireland. Now that's a while ago now, I accept. But there are good footballers in Aontroim, and Enda McGinnity has managed to get most of them there. There are a few boys who retired. Paddy Cunningham's a big miss. Mark Sweeney, Niall McKeever, there's a bit of size there. They have Declan Lynch of Lavderg is injured. But they have got a bit like us to have new players in. Jamie McCann from Cregan, Dominic McInhill from Rossa, Jamie Gribben who starts actually.
Atav we allegerin, beyond our slua, our tent around a curry, we watch fasir, shan cheer our shin shofasta, nioka, when Ciarán of intro. Anakta him savana will, lagan or yil hon boss no sail, lagan Israel, we love agnabile, shalif kani aron nave.
Aron Avain and Shinnakarja Akanuik Eleanor Farry from the Co-O'Dwyer's Club, Peter. Scene is set, Peter, ready to go. Just a word on the conditions. It's dry, no wind, and it's just a really crisp night for spring football.
Yes, I suppose it's an ideal. You couldn't ask for a nicer night in January. And the forecast today was for a high wind and that, which maybe would have destroyed it. But Aontroim will play. The better the conditions, the better Aontroim play. That's historically been the case. So, not sure. I'm not happy about it being good.
Well, we can do a rain dance if it's going that way. Match referee for today's game is Barry Tiernan from Dublin. He's standing there. He's waiting for a ball to be thrown in. I see that it's Ryan Jones and Joe McDade going for this here. We're just waiting on the ball to be thrown in, but just looking at who's picking up who at this stage, most of the teams seem to be. It's James McMahon who's gone straight into. He's picking up Thomas McCann, and indeed it's Garrett Kavanagh who's standing beside Oran Eastwood there as well. So we'll keep our eye on that, Peter. Is that how it continues?
I have a feeling that Thomas McCann may come out. Yeah.
Ball is thrown in, and the ball has been won by the midfielder, who's Michael McCann. Wins the first free. He's going to take it himself on the 65-metre line. He's got support over there from the wing half back, and the captain of the team, that's Peter Healy. He gets inside the 45-metre line. Got Joe McDade for company. Back out to the centre half forward, Jamie Gribben, and now it's Michael McCann from Manach seem to be going back pretty deep. They have 13 players behind the ball too in the forward line. Now as they break forward, it is the centre half back James Laverty gets inside the 45-metre line, no one to tackle him, gives it over here now to Kevin Small. He gets away from the challenge of James McMahon and hitting that in on the right foot, looking for the first score, getting that over the bar. And the first point of the game, Peter, goes to Aontroim. Something that I noticed in that there was Aontroim done a lot of their travelling without any pressure. There was no one from Fermanagh to put a hand on them.
Yes, James Laverty transitioned from defence to attack, all without, as you say, a hand being laid on him. But now it was a fine score. As we thought, Thomas McCann has moved out and leaving James McMahon as a sweeper.
And he's completely free here now in the 45-metre line, but it's Ryan Jones who has this ball from the kick out. He's coming forward, gives it to McMahon here now on this stand side of the field. He's breaking forward, chased by a couple of Antrim players, turns back, gives it to Ryan Jones, and he's got Aidan Breen over on his own 45-metre line support over there from Luke Flanagan for Fermanagh. Probably an opportunity to give a couple of players just to get their hands on the ball initially.
Yes, well, I suppose as well, in this modern game, whatever that means, you have to keep the ball. So there's going to be nothing done drastically.
Josh Largo injects a bit of speed. James McMahon with a good angle of her own. Aidan Breen, that was a good move there. Now I thought he was going to take it on the left foot, possibly over Ciarán. Now he gives it towards Darragh McGurn, breaking through the middle. There's a chance on here. McGurn on the right foot, chipping that ball in, right footed, and it's over the bar. And it's the first point for Fermanagh. There was possibly a hint of a goal chance here. I think it was maybe Brandon Horn who indeed was in the road of Darragh McGurn.
Well, I thought Aidan Breen did very well. Probably slightly lucky not to have been blown over Ciarán, but his offload to Darragh McGurn, who was coming at pace, it seemed to open up at that stage. But look, we'll take the point. Kick
out to the far side of the field, and it's the Aontroim captain Peter Healy who has that. He gives it over there to a colleague from the full back line. I think it's James Macaulay. He's been met by Ryan Lyons over there on that pass. Now it's a good angle of a run. It's Peter Healy again getting inside the 65-metre line. 3 Fermanagh players after him, but Healy's away like a rocket inside the 45, swinging it back here now to Ryan Murray, the Lav Derek man on the 45-metre line. Now it's Patrick McBride from Fermanagh with an up. They have had a chance to set their defence, Peter, as Aontroim continue to move the ball between the 45 and the 65. It's the midfielder Kevin Small giving it over then to one of the corner forwards. He's Oran Eastwood, that danger man, but he's not too dangerous between the 45 and the 65.
Yes, just at the minute. They're obviously probing at the minute. There's a lot of space in behind. There's only 2 Antrim players inside our 45.
And they're standing on top of each other as well. So here we go. This is Michael McCann. I thought he was going to take that shot on the right foot. Gives it to his midfield colleague, who's Kevin Small. Now it's back here to Jamie Gribben, and Gribben soloing away in on the stand side of the field. Low ball inside, and it's been picked up, goes to ground. 2 Fermanagh players in around him. They're bottling him up there. Referee says play away. It's picked up again by the Aontroim. He's Patrick McBride on the end line. He gives it over here on the 14-metre line. 3 Aontroim players in there, and the ball now has come outside the 45 into the centre half back, who's James Laverty. Got support on the far side of the field. He chips that ball over there to the full back, Ricky Johnson getting back inside the 45-metre line, takes his time, sets his shot, right footed, no one around him, puts that ball wide, and that's the first wide of the game. So patient, Peter, but
yes, but patient,
no execution.
No, and I mean, I know it doesn't matter what position you play in now, you should be able to shoot, but you would prefer to get your shooters on the ball instead of taking a pot shot, which I thought that was. After X amount of passes, he felt, here, must have a shot.
Kick out now, and it's from Anna. It's the goalkeeper, Sean McNally, who gives that ball to Joe McDade. McDade on the edge of the D. He's coming towards this stand side of the field. Gives it to the cornerback, who's Johnny Castian now. Johnny Castian is home field, giving it over to Ryan Jones. Jones to McDade. Back to Jones again with James McMahon on this stand side of the field. Goes to McMahon here now as Aontroim start to retreat. They've no one inside their own the 45-metre line now. It's Ryan Jones. Thought he was looking for a first-time delivery, but there's 3-4 Aontroim players forming a saffron wall in there, so there's no point in hitting that in from on a retained possession. They're on their own 45-metre line. It's the full-back Garrett Kavanagh giving it over here to Aidan Breen. And Fermanagh continue to break on that far side of the field. That's been picked up by the corner forward, who's Ciarán Corrigan. Swings away from the challenge, and he's going to give it to Aidan Breen in a bit of space at midfield. Breen was looking for Sean Quigley. Back to Ryan Jones here now, and Fermanagh are doing hard running through the middle. That's Ryan Jones on the right foot hitting that in, and that's gone wide. 2 attacks, Peter. Fermanagh have seemed to have gone straight through the middle of the Aontroim defence.
Yes, and I suppose if they had maybe gone a little further, that might have been a better opportunity.
Kick out here now, and it's well done by the Aontroim players. That's number 10, Ryan Murray, who wins that, gets a free from the referee, and it's Murray who's going to take it himself. Gives it over here. It's Kevin Small indeed who takes that. Now he's hit Paddy McBride, who's on the middle of the field, getting inside the 65-metre line. First ball in time now, and it's been picked up. It's going towards Oran Eastwood on the end line. Eastwood goes to ground. Garrett Kavanagh is able to get the ball away from him. It's Declan McCusker, the Fermanagh captain. We haven't had a chance to talk about him. Peter, he was announced this week as the Fermanagh captain. A good honour for him and his club. He's been a good servant for Fermanagh.
Yes, well deserved. He's a leader. He has played and led for a long time now, actually.
Ball kicked in now by Joe McDade. That's a nice ball. One bounce in front of Sean Quigley. He finds Josh Largo. Ellis was getting away, but he has been, we will not say pulled down, but he was fouled cutely by Ryan Murray.
I like to see the referee going for his pocket now. What colour he comes up with, I'm not sure.
I don't think he's not even going to go for his pocket, Peter. It was one of those ones. It was we would say it was a cynical foul because Josh Largo Ellis was through for a goal on that there. He was just on the
it wasn't only
line.
cynical, but it was also, it was a goal scoring chance, which is what the black card is designed to sort out.
So
but funny, what was good about that was it's the first time that Fermanagh have gone for plan B, which is to kick the ball into Sean Quigley, created the space in front of him.
Plenty of space.
Moved it up quite quickly before Antrim could get back, and it was a good ball in, and then the support coming off the shoulder from Ciarán Corrigan.
And from that free, Sean Quigley kicks it over the bar, so it's 2 points to 1. Long kick out, which has been won by Thomas McCann on the 65-metre line. He gives it over there. Now it's come to the hands of Patrick McBride. Now he tries the first time ball in, 2v2 in there. That's nicely done. The Antrim player gives it back to the centre half forward. He's Jamie Gribben, and Gribben on the right foot, swinging that ball in and swinging it over the bar. 2 points apiece. The teams are kind of mirroring they're mirroring the attack play, because Antrim, that was the first time that they tried a first time ball in, Peter. Well, and there was plenty of space again.
Yes, it is the first time they tried the ball in, but there were one or two other occasions when Odrin Eastwood had made a sort of diagonal run or a crossfield run into space, and wasn't found the last time, and that time he was found in loads of space. He's been marked by Gareth Kavanagh as well.
Nicely done. That was Sean McNally. He finds his captain Declan McCusker, gives it to James McMahon here now, and Fermanagh get a free. Referee was playing advantage. It's back inside their own 45-metre line, and it's James McMahon who is going to take this here. He's got his captain Declan McCusker on the 45. McCusker sizing up his options. Back to McMahon here now. There's a good challenge from Jamie Gribben. He met James McMahon there and stopped him, but retained possession. Now it's back into the hands of Ryan Jones, who finds Luke Flanagan on that far side of the field. Or it's Garrett Kavanagh indeed, getting away from the challenge of Thomas McCann, and Kavanagh gives it over then to Ciarán Corrigan. He's come very deep, but we probably assumed that Ciarán Corrigan was going to do that, Peter.
Yes, well, Ciarán Corrigan's probably been given a licence when Fermanagh have the ball to get up, and when Fermanagh are defending to get back and make himself, as my mother used to say, generally useful.
Interesting. That was Luke Flanagan going forward, been dispossessed. That's the first turnover we'd have seen from a team going forward.
And I have to say, Antrim are working hard when Fermanagh have the ball. It's not as if they're going to play when they have the ball. They're going to work very hard. And again, you'd expect that. Well,
an interesting battle that's going to happen as well is between Josh Largo Ellis and Patrick McBride. I was just watching. Josh Largo Ellis is one of the players who's going to, for Fermanagh, he seems to be trying to transition from the defence to attack by making those runs. He's been tracked by McBride, so that's going to be an interesting battle between those players. We'll keep an eye on it as it goes on ahead. Now that's Michael McCann's ball in towards the corner forward, who is Thomas McCann. He was fouled by his opposite numbers, Ciarán Corrigan. Was it a push in the back?
It was a foul, I'm quite sure. Ciarán was behind him initially, and then he spun him a little bit when he did arrive. Now Thomas McCann, a bit like Ciarán Corrigan, seems to have a licence to play inside or to roam out about the place, and he needs to be watched as well.
So this is Rory McCann who's lining this up. He's just a couple of inches outside the 45-metre line. He's going to hit this right-footed. I'd say, Peter, he's about 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post. Going to hit it off the ground as well. Got Ryan Jones standing in front of him, so he's going to want to get the elevation in early.
Yeah, now we haven't seen him taking a free just yet. But as you said earlier, good underfoot conditions.
The conditions are good.
And no significant breeze.
So here he comes, hitting this in here now, right footed, gets a great connection and the good accuracy as well. No more 45-metre freeze, Peter.
That's what I was going to say. That's a bit ominous, actually. Anything, well, probably he hit that at his leisure from 45. Anything inside 50 is going to be punished by the looks of things, which is what you'd expect.
Kick out puts James McMahon under a bit of pressure. He does win it, goes to ground, and he gets his free eventually. A couple of the Antrim supporters weren't too happy with that, but the play goes on that way, and now it's Luke Flanagan breaking forward, giving it to Ciarán Corrigan. Thought he was going first time, blocked down well, picked up by Ryan Jones. He does well to turn his man. Jones going through the middle. He's got 3 Antrim players around him. He's got advantage. He's got advantage from the referee as well. And I think the referee was right to pull that free back there, because I think Fermanagh were going anywhere fast.
Yes, well, funny, you have some sympathy. At the other 45, when James McMahon was fouled, he offloaded the ball to Decky McCusker going flying past him, and the thing opened up and the free was given and it was brought back. So the opposite there, look, we have to accept that every so often it's not going to quite work out your way.
Yeah. Sean Quigley's lining up. This is his second free he's going for here now, which is outside the 45-metre line, and he's going to hit this out of the hands reasonably straight in front of the goals. Tries to chop it back against himself, and that's gone wide.
Yeah, I suppose Sean was hoping that ball, he struck it more with the outside of the boot than the instep, and he was hoping that it would come in a little bit. There's good pressure there from.
Yeah, kick out puts Michael McCann under a lot of pressure. It was Ryan Lyons who was chasing him there. Now it's come. Antrim have retained possession. It seems like McMahon getting a hand in there, but it's coming out over the sideline here, which will be kicked from the cornerback, who is Owen McCabe. Now it goes ahead to Ryan Murray inside his own 45-metre line. He's got James McMahon in support. He has support over on that far side of the field as well, but Ricky Johnson drops that on the 65. Aidan Breen puts a tackle in. Johnson gets away from it. Now it's Fermanagh start to retreat, and it's Declan McCusker who's playing the sweeper role for them.
Yes, well, I think actually they're rotating that. Whoever is back in that position plays sweeper, and that's Decky McCusker, James McMahon, Ciarán Corrigan even.
Yeah.
Funny, just a few lazy tackles by the Fermanagh players.
Free in for Antrim. It's 2v1 here, and it's Declan McCusker using all his experience, catching that ball before it goes to the ground, and Fermanagh have won that. It's come into the hands of Brandon Horn here now in his own 45-metre line. He's got Declan McCusker and a lot of space in front of McCusker. Sean Quigley's inside, that's the ball heading into Quigley. He's chasing to get it before it goes out over the line. He's got Joe McDade with him as well, but Quigley going to hit this left-footed Cohen in, and it's not got the accuracy. It mightn't even get out over the end line, because indeed it's come to Declan McCusker on the 13-metre line. And Declan McCusker, he had 3 Fermanagh players and he put it straight to an Antrim one. And now Fermanagh's under a bit of pressure here as Antrim are breaking out. Play goes on now, and on the 45-metre line it's Oren Eastwood who's going to ground, try and pick that up, but well done by Luke Flanagan.
Yes, did remarkably well there. He really had
got his body in the road, and that's what that was what Oren Eastwood couldn't deal with there, because he ended up fouling Luke Flanagan.
He had no business getting that ball. Fair play to him.
Just going back to that last attack from Fermanagh, it nearly looked as if there was a score coming from Deck if he had found any one of the 3 Fermanagh players.
Yeah. Funny, I watched the McKenna Cup game between Fermanagh and Monaghan, and one of the things that Monaghan did particularly well was break from defence to attack to a scoring position. Fermanagh are doing that occasionally, but not as much as you would like. So this they're going to have to work extremely hard now.
Free in, which is won by Declan McCusker. That looked as if it was Oren Eastwood, who it was a high challenge anyway. It wasn't Oren Eastwood, beg your pardon. I think it might have been.
It was Oren Eastwood.
He's not getting the yellow card. He's not. If he did the crime, he's not getting the punishment anyway. It's a yellow card for quite possibly the full forward.
I'm not sure that it wasn't.
Yeah, but it's definitely Rory McCann who's got a yellow card. Free's been taken quickly down. It's James McMahon on the 45-metre line, going to hit that ball, which is blocked down, half block. Ryan Lyons does well to win it. He's on the ground, 2 Antrim players around him, and the referee says it was over carried. Free out for Antrim.
Yes, which it was. I thought he might have been fouled just as soon as he came onto the ball, but I'm allowed to be biased, I suppose.
Play continues, and it's the midfielder Kevin Small fisting the ball forward. Now it's been picked up by Oren Eastwood, who gives it to Derek
Oh,
McAleese
well done.
and Declan McCusker again intercepting that.
Yes, and funny, that was a good break by Aontroim because there were very few Fermanagh players back except, there was nobody spare except Declan McCusker, and he did very well as he went back.
A ball finds, that's Ryan Lane's left footed, that's going to drop short though into the goalkeeper. Sean Quigley was going out to make a run for him there. They'd done well to break that down on that far side of the field.
Yes, and again, as I was saying earlier on, they broke quickly, got into a scoring position quite quickly. Now, I've seen Ryan Lane score though, so he was entitled to take a shot.
Just 5% too less on it, really. Good interception from Lyons, and it's been picked up now by James McMahon. I think he might have been tripped there as well, but McMahon, he's got looking for a first time ball with Sean Quigley. It's a very low ball, not a ball that Quigley's going to like. He's in a battle there with Owen McCabe, and Quigley eventually toe pokes the ball out towards the sideline. Eventually it's gone out over the line, and the sideline official over there is Barry Casty, who adjudicates that it's a Fermanagh ball. So this is midway between the 13 and the 21 metre line. Sean Quigley's taking it on that far side of the field. He's going to chip it in to try and find Darren McGowan. McGowan does well, catches the ball. He is under a lot of pressure inside the 13 metre line, trying to get away from the challenge of Michael McCann. McGowan looking for support, looking for options, still holding it. He's heading towards the 21 now. It's come over here now, and it's back to the hands of Aidan Breen outside the 45. He finds James McMahon, and they've changed the angle of attack. McMahon giving it to Declan McCusker, gives it back to James McMahon, and it's a good attack here. There's even a goal chance on. Oh, James McMahon, he fists it. He was trying to find Ryan Lyons to palm the ball to the net, but it ended up going possibly a bit too much on the fist pass, Peter.
There was. You could see what his intention was. It's just he was maybe going a bit too fast and couldn't play the fist pass easier. But that was encouraging now, because that was a fast break, and it came from a position where they were in a dead end over in the far corner. It was played back, and then suddenly they were able to mount the attack at pace. And
it was another attack down the middle as well from Fermanagh. They seemed to be going down.
That's where you want to be if you're going to score goals. And Fermanagh have done that, as you say, a couple of times, Ciarán.
So just to clear up what happened, James McMahon was breaking for it. He fisted the ball, trying to find Ryan Lyons on the edge of the square. The ball ended up going to the net, which is an illegal score, and it ended up being a free out. Aontroim now have possession inside the Fermanagh 65 metre line. It's come to Ryan Murray, the Lav Jarrig man, hitting the ball first time in to try and find Oren Eastwood, and Eastwood wins that ball, wins the mark, and he's going to take that. It's on the 21 metre line, about 5-7 metres to the left hand side of the post, so it's just a nice angle for the right footed kicker. And Eastwood will take this here himself. He's 13 seconds to hit it, lining up to take this right footed over the bar, and the scoreline now reads Aontroim 4, Fermanagh 2. Well, there hadn't been a score for a while.
No, but I must say, I'm as a Fermanagh man, I'm a bit worried about Odran Eastwood. He's showing very, very well for the ball when there's space in front of him. And once he gets the drop on the defender and the ball is played well, there's no defender going to get it.
And it's Luke Flanagan who's picking up Odran Eastwood. Goalkeeper Sean McNally coming to the stand side of the field. That kick out has been overturned now, and it's Aontroim breaking forward. It's Ryan Murray, left footed, trying to find the full forward, who is Ray McCann. McCann goes to ground, picks it up again, he's back to ground. 3 Fermanagh players around him. No social distancing going on there, Peter. It's all over, and it's over carried, and Fermanagh have the free out.
Yes, well, in fairness, the referee's been consistent there, because he has done that throughout the match so far. And it encourages good tackling, that if you know you're going to be rewarded.
Play continues, and again it's Fermanagh with a lot of space down the middle. Ryan Jones breaking forward. He's got support from Johnny Casty. Johnny Casty away like a hare. Ball didn't go to hand though, and Sean Quigley picks it up outside the 21 metre lane. He's under pressure from Ricky Johnson. Gives it over here to Darren McGowan. McGowan kind of stops, gets back going again. He's looking to find Declan McCusker on the 45 metre line with a chance to shoot. Sells a dummy, gives it back now to Ryan Jones. He's met well. Now he gives it back to Declan McCusker. Another goal chance on here, bearing inside the 21 metre line. Oh, and right footed. He was really on the edge of the D there, Declan McCusker, and it ended up going wide.
Right, and we had the perfect angle to view that as he came in from the right hand side. We were quite sure it was going to end up in the top corner. But again, encouraging attack.
I think they need to take one of these goal chances now, because they will dry up at some stage, or get some sort of a score.
Yes, I know what you mean. When the goal chance is missed, you say, oh God, they should have gone for the point, but there is always the possibility for a player on the pitch to make that decision.
Kick out coming along here now, and it's Dar McGore, or it's Joe McDade indeed going for it. Now it's been picked up by Patrick McBride getting inside the Fermanagh 65-metre line. He's put a bit of pace into it. No one immediately from Fermanagh going towards him now. He's trying to fist inside to the full forward, and that was done well by Garrett Kavanagh. But Aontroim have done good work on turning that ball over. Now it's Patrick McBride going to kick it over there to the centre half forward, who's Jamie Gribben. Already got a point so far in this game. Gribben giving it back to McBride, and now as Aontroim they move it along the line, and it's come back out here to Michael McCann. McCann has Joe McDade in front of him. He's trying to get inside the 45-metre line, trying to swing it back on the right foot, and he gets that ball in and he gets it over the bar. I think Joe McDade, he was a bit too easily pushed off it there, Peter.
Look, I thought Joe's limping there now. I thought
Yeah.
he got back limping. So he wasn't 100% when that incident happened. But I'd be a bit disappointed that Gareth Kavanagh, who had done brilliantly to intercept the ball or read the ball and get to it first. And in fact, Joe
McDade is coming off
Joe
now,
is coming off.
and Stephen McGullion. So to be fair to him, he wasn't 100% there, because Michael McCann just kind of he directed him out of the way.
It happened in the previous incident out around the middle of the field, and Joe got back gingerly.
Yeah.
And then when he was put under the pressure by McCann, he hadn't got the response.
5 points to 2 in this first half. Don't forget, there's no water breaks now, Peter, so we'll have to go for 35 minutes without a stop at all.
Well, I think most of the players will appreciate that. I suppose if you're behind, you would like a bit of a break and a reset. But I think it's gone.
Play continues, and it's Aontroim on that far side of the field. It's one Aontroim player against 3 Fermanagh ones, but no one immediately putting pressure on. And now it's Rory McCann who's hitting the ball in. He was trying to find one of the forwards, but that's gone over the head. Picked up by goalkeeper Sean McNally, and now with Fermanagh with a chance to break. He finds Ciarán Corrigan on his 21-metre line. Corrigan gets away from the challenge, soloing forward outside the 45. It's James McCauley who was tackling him, and now it's James McMahon got his hands on a lot of ball so far in this game. Now it's Darragh McGorn on the 65-metre line. Josh Largo Ellis is making a run here, but McGorn retains possession. He finds James McMahon free in midfield, and James McMahon has been hit. He was bending, he was crouching down, and he was hit around his head, so he's down at the minute, going to need a bit of treatment.
Yeah, I tell you what, you need to really put somebody out for the count to get a yellow card here. I thought that was fairly
well, it's one of these things around the head. It generally tends to be a yellow card, but referee
now,
Barry Tiernan, I don't think there was terrible malice in it, but
the mitigating circumstance be that James was bending at the time, but I thought it was.
But it still happened.
Yeah, and he meant to hit him.
So James McMahon is getting back to his feet as a couple of the senior players just have a word with the referee, and Barry Tiernan is making a note of that there about that incident. McMahon's only just up to a sitting position, gingerly enough, I would say, Peter.
Yeah. Well, look, I think he'd be okay. It maybe is an opportunity to get a bit. I mentioned earlier on about the water break being a reset. That's it. Fermanagh need a score now.
So this is Ryan Jones as he goes forward. He's going to try and find Sean Quigley on the edge of the D. Quigley left-footed, chipping that ball in. It's going to drop short again, and it's been picked up by the Aontroim defence. And now they have an opportunity to break, as they have 3 players going forward as Brandon Horan tracks back along with this here. It's the centre half forward Jamie Gribben, who's already got a point so far today. He gives it to Kevin Small. He's lost his boot, but the play continues, and that's Oren Eastwood who picks up the ball. He was hit by Stephen McGullion, goes to ground, gets his free, and it's going to be a free for Aontroim, basically on the sideline here, Peter.
Yes, I think Kevin Small maybe got stood on his heel and dislodged the boot.
Dislodged the boot.
I don't think there's any intentional in it. But Stephen McGullion had been involved in that incident with Kevin. And then he made his way over the sideline here and probably two or four arm.
Maybe Aontroim might say that Stephen McGullion, as Oren Eastwood was down, McGullion come in, and possibly Stephen McGullion could have got a yellow card. Maybe they might try to say that there. I don't know.
Well, let's say that the referee's been consistent. I think that covers.
That's a good way to put it.
That covers that.
free kick will be taken by James Laverty, a couple of metres outside the 65. He chips it forward, going to go back to Laverty again. It's Patrick McBride who fists it forward to Laverty inside the 45. He's got two Fermanagh players coming towards him, and that has come now to Patrick McBride, who kicks it back here towards Michael McCann. Michael McCann's got his hands. He's got his hands on a lot of ball play, and he's directed a lot of play as well.
He's like a midfield general. Has he got 1 or 2 points? No, as you say, he's handling a lot of stuff. Big, strong man with plenty of football in him. He's going to have another go at it.
Well, he's trying to sell a dummy, trying to get it back to the right foot.
Well
James
done,
McMahon
James.
gets it out of his hands now. He releases Ryan Jones. Good attacking stuff as well. They're good entertainment so far in the game. As three Fermanagh players go forward now, it's Josh Largo Ellis on the far side of the field. There must be about 10 Fermanagh players inside the Aontroim 45-metre line, and it's Ryan Jones goes to ground. He was trying to find a Fermanagh player. The ball bubbles about a bit, and now it's Aontroim. They have it's 4v4 here now, and Darragh McGorn's chasing back. It's number 13 Thomas McCann going forward. Bad bounce, and that's gone to ground. Going back, trying to find Thomas McCann here again. He's going to chip that right-footed, hitting the ball in, and that's gone over the bar. And from Aontroim, that was a good counter-attack play, and they punished it as well.
Yes, I suppose. Look, we're going to complain about any half fouls that the referee doesn't give Fermanagh. And the ones that he does give Aontroim, I suppose I'm afraid that's natural enough. But I definitely thought Ryan Jones was impeded there and was unlucky not to get a free. And the net result of it was another point.
Yeah. 6 points plays 2, and you mentioned about 5 minutes ago that Fermanagh needed a score. They definitely need one now, just to keep in touch here, because 4 points is the lead. That can stretch.
Yes, and then it becomes difficult. They don't have to be as enterprising, although Aontroim teams usually continue to go for it.
Now, as the play continues, it's Josh Largo Ellis who finds Stephen McGullion on this stand side of the field. McGullion going forward, he's putting the first time ball into Sean Quigley. It's a high ball, Quigley gets a fist, comes back at the post. Ball, as it eventually ended up into the goalkeeper. It was a fist by Sean. I think he was going for a point, most likely. It come back off the post, bobbled around, and the ball ended up into the goalkeeper's hand. Now Aontroim away on the attack. That's a foul by Brandon Horn. He fouled Dermot McAleese, and now it's Aontroim come back into the hands of Michael McCann here again. Another goal opportunity, we could probably say. Is that 4 possibly?
Yes, well look, when it came back up the post and Ciarán Corrigan was flying in on it, he got sort of impeded to some extent, and the ball popped up into the keeper's hands. Bit of luck.
Ricky Johnson over there on the far side of the field, he giving it to Jamie Gribben, and that ball's heading into the full forward, who is Rory McCann, and McCann's in a pace race along with Declan McCusker, but McCusker sees him out over the line, and that's going to be a kick out again for Sean McNally. He's looking to take it quick. Referee says play away, and it's Garrett Kavanagh here now who has it, getting outside the 45-metre line. He gives it now to Johnny Casty, and Johnny Casty with 2 Aontroim players around him, but he's trying to get away from Kevin Small. Swings away from those 2 challenges, and Johnny Casty's got a free. He's doing well. He goes to ground. Referee says it's going to be a free back. Done hard running there, Johnny Casty, so he did.
Yeah, good to see Johnny back now, to tell you the truth. He missed all of the McKenna Cup, and he has got pace, and pace is
power
so
as well.
Important.
Yeah. Now, away we go, and it's Brandon Horn in the 45-metre line. He gives it back to Luke Flanagan, as Luke Flanagan tries to break forward. He's got Ciarán Corrigan on the 45-metre line. Corrigan skirting around the outside. Very congested Aontroim inside that 45-metre line, because there's about 3 or 4 rows of 3 players, so that leaves not much space.
Well, they've all 15 players back in their own half, which is fine. It does
within the
things.
rules.
It does 2 things. It means that they are in a good chance to stop a score and stifle Fermanagh's attack, but then they have half of the field to play in with nobody in it, except Sean McNally.
And another foul on Johnny Casty here now, and it's 50 metres out here, so it's not a simple free. Josh Largo Ellis takes it quick, gives it to Aidan Breen. Yeah, Sean Quigley was coming over to take that, and Largo Ellis just decided to take it earlier. I suppose it certainly wasn't a simple free, even though Fermanagh could do with a score. Well, it wasn't a gimme anyway. But no doubt Aontroim's tactics for the remainder of this half will be to try to close the game down to a certain extent and not concede many more scores.
Yes, smother Fermanagh's attacks and then try and hit them on the break. And Fermanagh sort of getting bogged down in this middle third now without any incisive movement, which we did see quite a bit of in the first 15 minutes.
Stephen McGullion, heavy challenge, and Fermanagh retaining possession. They've spent really 20 seconds with the ball between the 45 and 65. Now James McMahon getting away. He gives it here to Ryan Lyons, gives it to Ryan Jones, and over here now to Darren McGorn. McGorn going to look, he wants it on the right foot. He's very close to the sideline, giving it in towards the midfield. Now it's Ryan Lyons. He's got support now. It's Aidan Breen, right footed, hitting the ball in. A lot of height on it, but it's gone wide. And big reaction from the Antrim support here, Peter, because they've weathered maybe 2.5 minutes, I would say, of Fermanagh pressure with one attack, and it ended up being a timid kind of a wide.
Yes, well, that was their supporters and the subs especially congratulating them on the fact that they had managed to tempt Fermanagh into a fairly speculative shot. And Fermanagh have had a few of those. They've had a few drops short. They've had a couple of goal chances which they haven't managed to. It's not that there's that much possession difference.
No. Play continues now, and it's Antrim that it's their full back, who's Ricky Johnson. He was going up the stand side of the field and he was fouled on the 45-metre line. The ball now is in the hands of Michael McCann, and McCann gives it to Rory McCann, who comes back here now towards the Dermot McAleese, the wing half-back, with 32 minutes played in this first half. Antrim bit of messing about now, and that's allowed James McMahon to intercept the ball well, and Fermanagh are trying to get into attack quickly. McMahon hitting that free over to the far side of the field, and it's Stephen McGullion, first time ball into Sean Quigley. He's got away from Owen McCabe, and Quigley, he's on the 21-metre line, gives it back then to, gives it over to Luke Flanagan, I think, and now it's come then to Aidan Breen. And Aidan Breen with Declan McCusker on the 45-metre line. He's met by Ryan Murray, and Ryan Murray, if he done nothing else, he stopped the momentum of Declan McCusker, put a lot of pressure on, and that's a good turnover. But Ryan Jones gets in, and now he breaks forward. The crowd comes to life here. Referee gives the free to Fermanagh, which is, it's closer to the 65 than the 45.
Right, I'll take back what I said about the referee being consistent. Declan McCusker got fouled 2 or 3 times there and didn't get a free.
Well, if he doesn't give it a couple of times, we can still say that he is consistent, Peter.
Yes, well, look at you have to compliment Antrim too on their tackling, their 1v1 tackling. They've turned over Fermanagh quite a few times in that sort of situation.
Play continues, and it's the goalkeeper finding Peter Healy, the Antrim captain, here on this stand side of the field. He's breaking forward. Brandon Horn tracking the runner, who is James McCauley. Now it's Ryan Lyons, the first Fermanagh player, puts a half kind of a challenge, and it's Peter Healy still retaining possession. Gives it to Dermot McAleese. He's been met by Brandon Horn. Brandon Horn was definitely impeded there now, and that ball has been intercepted, and it's Sean Quigley who gives it to Ryan Lyons, doing well, and Ryan Lyons in the stands of the field. And if that's not a free, if that's not a card, Peter, I don't know. It was Jamie Gribben who dragged Ryan Lyons down, and referee now, Barry Tiernan, is having a word with his officials here now. It was definitely Jamie Gribben there. Ryan Lyons was getting away, and Jamie Gribben took him to ground.
I'm not sure that maybe the black card has gone with the water break, because that's been a couple of instances where it deliberately
that was a shocker. That, like the one where Josh Largo-Ellis was dragged down, it was disguised better. That was blatant. Play continues, the free now, it's going over there as we see 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. That's well done. Josh Largo-Ellis goes to ground. Fermanagh get a free in, and this should be a good opportunity for Fermanagh to get another score. 6 points to 2 still, as I say, 2 extra minutes, 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half.
Well, look, we'll certainly take it. Again, it was well created by a player coming onto the ball at pace, and then had to be dealt with by the Antrim players clumsily. And this gives Sean Quigley what should be for him a relatively simple chance, to be honest.
He's on the edge of the D, about 5 metres to the right-hand side of the of the goal posts. So Sean Quigley, right-footed, going to take this out of the hands. As you say, conditions are good, no breeze. Hitting that ball in, and that's over the bar, and that's another score for Sean Quigley, another free. The Fermanagh scores has come from Darragh McGurn and 2 points from frees for Sean Quigley. For all the good work from Fermanagh, they haven't that much to show for it, which is frustrating.
Yes, funny, I was just thinking that myself. The score's 6-3 and was 6-2 there for a long time. Aontroim haven't had any more possession than Fermanagh. They haven't had any more good chances than Fermanagh. It's just they have managed to take a couple of long-range points.
2 Derrygonney players going for that ball. It's been broken down, but it was a foul on Brandon Horn. And for a bit of ill discipline, Patrick McBride said something to the referees to move forward.
Well, funny, just on Brandon Horn, when he came into the team initially, I wondered where would his best position be, and he'd been tried at midfield for a while, but it just didn't work. And Fermanagh had probably a few options in the middle of the field. But we're seeing him here tonight as a hard-working half forward, dropping back and doing the sort of work that he did there. That was an exceptional turnover.
So it's Sean Quigley who's laying. It's probably straight in front. He would have no angle to work with here because he'd be reasonably close in front of the goals. He's about 5 metres outside the 45-metre line. Going to take this one out off the ground as Jamie Gribben's very close to him as he kicks that here quickly. Good connection, had the distance but hadn't the accuracy, and that's gone wide. And with that, referee Barry Ciarán blows the half-time whistle. 6 points to 3. Work to be done, Peter. Encouraging performance, as we had mentioned, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yes, encouraging performances are not much good
Don't
unless
get
you put points on the board.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And Aontroim will win happier. Fermanagh will win with an expectation that they can do better. And it's sort of... I still think that both teams are even enough balanced and have had the same amount of possession. Maybe we'll have to say that Aontroim used theirs slightly better. Fermanagh had 2 good goal chances and a couple of other chances from frees and from play.
It goes back to just what I was saying. When Fermanagh they didn't take the goal chances or they didn't get anything from them. Let's say it's a bit unfair to say they didn't take them, but they didn't get any scores, and that leaves it. It leaves it with nothing to show.
Yeah, I suppose if either of them had gone in, or both of them had gone in, we'd have been talking now about promotion of Division 3. But
would be more seasoned than that, I would say, Peter. We wouldn't get that carried away.
The choice then, was it decision making? Should James have fisted it over the bar? He very nearly did fist it over the bar.
Well, quite possibly it was the execution. So I just thought there was a bit too much in the fist pass, which also didn't help.
Yes, and I suppose you could, because of that, you'd have to label it as a giveaway. But it was a very incisive run. It cut them wide open.
Down the middle.
And it deserved something.
Yeah.
But you don't always get what you
No, you don't get what you deserve. That's sport in a nutshell. So with that, Peter, we'll take a short pause here on the Fermanagh GAA TV in association with our sponsors, Monaghan Brothers. The scoreline at half-time is Fermanagh 3 points, Aontroim 6 points. Carja, you're welcome back to Brewster Park here for this Allianz National League Division 3 game between Fermanagh and Aontroim. Referee Barry Ciarán throws the ball underway, and you're listening to Fermanagh GAA TV on the radio for this game. Peter McGinnity joining me on co-commentary. The ball's been thrown in now, and Fermanagh have won that possession. It's Stephen McGullion. He was a first half replacement for Joe McDade. Has the ball, giving it over here now to Josh Largo-Ellis. We were just talking at half time, Peter. We've seen fits and starts of good play from some players, but we'd like to see a bit more from the Fermanagh players.
Yes, and I'd like to see a lot more from Josh Largo-Ellis. But
we don't doubt the work they're doing. It's just they're getting onto the ball. Now Stephen McGullion has that on the edge of the D, who's trying to find James McMahon. Referee says it was a throw ball, and it's then free for Aontroim. They've a good opportunity to break out here now, and it's the corner forward, who's Tomas McCann. We talked a lot about his freedom to roam in the first half. Now he sprints away nicely from that challenge from Aidan Breen, and the referee blows it as a free in.
Well, now I don't know whether Aidan intended to foul him to stop a certain point. I'm not sure, but it certainly wasn't a great tackle. And we talked about Josh Largo just as the ball was thrown in. When that play developed, when Fermanagh had the ball and the play developed, the number 10, Ryan Murray, the Aontroim number 10, Ryan Murray, dedicated himself. They have identified Josh Largo-Ellis as somebody who is good at getting forward and causing problems. And here he is now taking frees.
He's had quite a good game, Ryan Murray, because not only his tracking back, but getting forward, he's got himself into a lot of positions in the forward line. The Lav Jarrig player, he's just on the edge of the D here, going to hit this left-footed coming in, looking for the first point of the second half, and that's over the bar. Aontroim have been quite clinical with their opportunities, because Fermanagh we would probably say have had more scoring opportunities, Peter, but it's 7 points against 3.
Yes, and look, if Fermanagh would have preferred, nearly demanded in the changing room as they were leaving that they get the first score of the second half, and that puts a different complexion on it. And now it hasn't gone our way. Aontroim's free taking has been very good, and I mean, one of the basic requirements of a good team, and a county team especially, is to score all your frees. Now Sean Quigley has missed one or two that have been very, very far out. One of them was 48, 49 metres. But Aontroim have been more successful in their frees.
Play is continuing. It's inside the 45 metre line. It's Garrett Kavanagh to Luke Flanagan, and now it's Josh Largo-Ellis. He's got his hands on the ball on the stand side of the field, giving it to Declan McCusker over there to Garrett Kavanagh. And again, Largo-Ellis, we're just watching him making his run forward there. I'll continue with the play. Garrett Kavanagh over that far side of the field now, and it's Aidan Breen. Gets around the challenge of Oran Eastwood now, back to Kavanagh, and Declan McCusker again on the 65 metre line for Fermanagh.
And by this stage now, Aontroim have their defence set up. Michael McCann, the midfielder, is back into.
Good challenge, where James McMahon still retains possession of the ball. He's gone to ground. Ryan Jones gets a foot in, chips that ball forward, but it's been intercepted now, and Kevin Small, the midfielder, is coming down the stand side of the field. Stephen McGullion with an opportunity to tackle him. Small gets away now, and it's Aontroim through the hands of Oran Eastwood. Eastwood giving it over here now, and it's back to Michael McCann. We talked about him. I would think that Michael McCann has really had a star in performance so far, Peter, because of his game management and.
Yes, a very mature performance. Yeah. He seems to know where to go. He uses the ball very well, and he's actually scored as well.
Play continues on the far side of the field now. It's Dermot McAleese, Garrett Kavanagh rushing out to there, but there's been a change in the Aontroim team, and it's number 19, Paddy McAlee, who's come on there now. Haven't had confirmation of who came off, but I see number 19's on there anyway. We'll keep our eye out and see what we can find. The play continues now, and it's goalkeeper Sean McNally on the edge of his own D, giving it to Luke, giving it to Johnny Cassidy. Cassidy now to Aidan Breen in the 45 metre line, back to Ryan Jones as well, and Jones fisting it to Stephen McGullion. The two Derrygonney players have kind of played well together, Peter, so they're doing a lot of their stuff at the same time. That was definitely on the ground, but the referee says play away, as Aontroim now in that hands of Paddy McAlee, and it's continuing on ahead. They're inside their own 65 metre line, but breaking out well here. That's a good ball, which is looking to find Rory McCann, and Rory McCann gets away from two challenges. He's been hit by Aidan Breen. Referee says play on, and it's now the cornerback, who's James McCauley, going over to midfield, and Rory McCann, that's took a lot out of him, so it has, Peter.
Yeah, well, it was probably a foul as well, if considering some of the other fouls he's given. But
Owen Eastwood.
I was just about to say that Aontroim have been far more economical with the possession that they've had. Fermanagh, on the other hand, have played a serious amount of football. Sometimes haven't got out of their own half and have difficulty putting it forward in a scoring position inside, and then we've missed chances.
Owen Eastwood took a left-footed shot. He was in about the 13-metre line, close enough to the sideline, and the ball just tipped over the crossbar. The scoreline is 8 points to 3. As one of the Aontroim players, it's Rory McCann. He was down getting a bit of treatment. 5 points the difference now, Peter. That's the first 2 scores of the second half which Aontroim have won. Although I have noticed that both times Aontroim got those early scores, Fermanagh have won their own kick out and won it well. Clearly in a training field manoeuvre there, because the first one, Ryan Jones come to this stand side of the field. That time there, I think it was Johnny Casty who won it. As Fermanagh continue to run the Aontroim 65-metre line, it's Ryan Jones. He's going to go in high to Sean Quigley. He's against Owen McCabe. Quigley wins that ball. He takes his mark. An opportunity for Fermanagh to get their first point of the second half. 8 points to Aontroim, 3 points to Fermanagh on the 21-metre line. 15 metres to the left of the post. Sean Quigley hits that right-footed over the bar. The angle was right, and that's another point for Sean Quigley from the mark. Good attack, because there was a lot of space in there, which Sean Quigley was able to use.
Yes, and it was a great ball in from Ryan Jones. It wasn't perfect, but because it was hit early and there was plenty of space, Sean had every opportunity to get his hands on it. That was important.
Darren McGowan ever so close to intercepting there, and eventually he has got it now on the far side of the field. He gives it over there to Ryan Lyons, going to ground.
Boy, you need to work hard to get a free here.
And Fermanagh still have possession. James McMahon with Declan McCusker inside the Aontroim 65-metre line. Stephen McGullion providing a good run back to McCusker. And now it's Ciarán Corrigan, right-footed. Plenty of height on it. I think it's good. The crowd reacting. That's gone over the bar. 2 quick points from Fermanagh, and that completes the full forward. The points have all come from the full forward line. 3 points for Sean Quigley, the first score for Darragh McGurn, and a point for Ciarán Corrigan as well. Right,
well, funny enough, Stephen McGullion did very well in that. And incidentally, I think that was the first Aontroim kick out that Fermanagh have won.
And that's the second one, which was broken down by Declan McCusker. Josh Largo Ellis picked it up from on a bit of a purple patch here now. It's Ryan Jones looking to get inside the Aontroim 45-metre line. He finds Sean Quigley, thought he was going to shoot. Now he's trying to thread a ball. A lovely ball to Brandon Horan. Horan goes forward, goes to ground. No free from the referee. Now it's Ryan Jones going around the outside. Referee eventually blows a free in. It's going to be on the 21-metre line. I would say about 15 metres to the right-hand side of the post. Would definitely shoot a left-footed kick, but Sean Quigley's going to take it. A cute enough angle for this one here, Peter.
Look, I've every confidence that he'll score it. He can do this right across the pitch. But what a ball from Sean Quigley. He got the mark for the last score.
He gets it.
He played the most unbelievable ball into Brandon Horan there over the defender's head, and with the resultant foul then has got the point again. Now that has steadied the ship. But crucially, those were 2 kickouts that Fermanagh pressed up and won against the Aontroim kick out. 3
points in a row here for Fermanagh inside about 5 minutes, and it's the goalkeeper rushing care. He's going long. Michael McCann wins that mark out at midfield. When you're under a bit of pressure, he's a great man to have. He gives it over here now to Thomas McCann, and McCann looking to try and find Owen Eastwood, too hot to handle. Gives it back to Thomas McCann inside the 21-metre line. Going to hit it in right-footed. If that goes over the bar, it's come back at the post, and it's gone over the bar. That was a great score, Peter.
Well, he had absolutely no business shooting from there. But what a score. Just clipped the top of the post and dropped to the right side of it.
9 points to 6, and business is picked up here this last from the start of the second half. Darragh McGurn misjudges the flight of the ball now, and that's been turned over. Aontroim getting inside. It's the Ryan Murray. He throws a dummy which left-footed. He's going to hit the ball in. It's going to drop short. There's an Aontroim player in there, very dangerous. Luke Flanagan's doing well to hold him up now. It comes back to Rory McCann. It was picked clean up of the ground. Referee spots it, and it's going to be a free out for Fermanagh. 9 points still to 6 here in Brewster Park.
Yes, not Fermanagh survived
Big let off.
It was a big let off because it was their own kick out that was turned over. And then it was a speculative shot that didn't go wide and was kept in play, and they really Aontroim would have been expecting to get a score from that position.
So after all the energy Fermanagh have expended in this, we're back to where we were at half time with 3 points between the teams, but a better performance than Fermanagh with a bit of a purple patch getting scores. Now away they go again. Stephen McGullion on the far side of the field. He finds Aidan Breen with a good fist pass. Brandon Horns over there as well. Aidan Breen with a high ball in. That ball isn't directed to too much at all, and it's going to be it's been turned over by Aontroim, and now they play out here. That's loose challenge on Paddy McAlee, and the play continues over there on the far side of the field. Is that I think that's Oran Eastwood over there. He finds James McCauley back to Eastwood again on his own 65 metre line. Aontroim had sunk back there, I suppose, maybe to try and kill some of the Fermanagh momentum.
Yes, and like I suppose the modern game means that it doesn't. The number on your back doesn't matter. It's where you're needed. And Odin Eastwood that was a good example of that.
As Rory McCann indeed winning that. Now it's come to Thomas McCann as McCann going forward, going to hit this right-footed, going to drop short, which Sean McNally picks up. That's a let off because Thomas McCann hasn't wasted much so far in this game, Peter. Now it's Ciarán Corrigan who's back there. He's got Aidan Breen in support inside his own 45 metre line. Over there now to Luke Flanagan, gets around one challenge. Flanagan takes a solo, looking for help, finds James McMahon on the 45. McMahon going forward, gets through a heavy challenge. Still no cards. The challenges or the frees are starting to count up, but referee isn't punishing them with cards here. But as the play continues, it's Aidan Breen heading towards the 45 middle line, found a bit of space. He gives it to Ryan Lyons, takes it outside. He's been fouled by Paddy McAlee. Another free in for Fermanagh inside the 45 metre line. Lyons takes it early. He goes to Declan McCusker, going to hit it in first time, trying to find Sean Quigley. Quigley going for the ball with Owen McCabe, and Owen McCabe has not been far from Sean Quigley. He does enough, and Aontroim have turned that over. On the far side of the field, I think it could be Michael McCann who's breaking out with it. He was in there giving his defence a hand. Now it's into the hands of James Laverty, who finds Peter Healy, the Aontroim captain from the Nevena club, and now Peter Healy on the Fermanagh 21 metre line gives it over there to Rory McCann, and Rory McCann retains possession, gives it over to Dermot McAleese, and Aontroim have gone from the 21 back out to midfield. Now it's Kevin Small. They've changed the angle of attack. They're coming on this down side of the field. It's Kevin Small giving it quick. There was a quick intercept, quick change of passes, but it's been turned over, and now Fermanagh are away with Ciarán Corrigan. He's in fifth gear, going up the stand side of the field. Two Aontroim players are after him, but he comes back to Ryan Lyons, who initially intercepted the ball. Ball didn't go to hand. There's two passes now that hasn't gone to hand. Declan McCusker with an opportunity, and that's gone wide. It has been kept in.
Wide.
It's been kept in by the goalkeeper. But there was a bit of space for Declan McCusker, and it was all just set up for him to execute that there.
Yes, I suppose he took the shot. Sean Quigley had made himself available. He could have taken another five.
He could have took it a bit further, but he was definitely entitled to take a shot. Just didn't get the right connection off his foot because it wasn't near going over the bar at all. So Aontroim now have the ball inside the Fermanagh 65 metre line. That is Thomas McCann finding Jamie Gribben with a nice ball, and it's been moved forward. It's two Fermanagh players against an Aontroim one. Ball goes to ground, and that I think it's Garrett Kavanagh doing well on his debut. He's done well, Peter. So
yes, the Fermanagh defence did well there. Garrett Kavanagh to actually come out with the ball literally. was very good.
Now Declan McCusker finds Ryan Lyons inside the 65-metre line, looking to find Sean Quigley. Quigley does well. The Antrim player, if it's not a free in, I do not know. It is a free in. It was Sean Quigley. It was Owen McCabe who bit to take a saddle with him because he was on him like a horse. So it was, and it's going to be a free in inside the 45-metre line, which Sean Quigley's going to take himself.
Yes, but you'd have to admire Fermanagh's diligence at times. Great defensive work there when it looked like Aontroim had them carved open. Managed to get a hand in, ball went to ground, won the dirty ball, and then got it up the field to Sean Quigley to what hopefully is a scoring position, and to bring it back to. Yeah. Bring it back to 2.
35 metres out here, about 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post, right-footed. The angle's right anyway for Sean Quigley. The execution's not good. He hasn't got it. It's been won in there by by maybe Dara McGowan, and then Ryan Lyons on the left foot rescues what was a hopeless enough looking position. So look, it was.
I understand that you're supposed to be neutral in these positions with two teams, Aontroim and Fermanagh, on the pitch, but geez, that would have been a bit of a blow. Fair play to the boys for resurrecting it and getting a point from it.
You can be as biased as you want. This is a Fermanagh show, so it is. Peter, we're trying to be realistic though as best we can. Couple of substitutions coming on, so that was the last action that Ryan Lyons is going to do. He kicked that point, and he's going to be replaced by number 19 Gary McKenna, and another change is number 5 Aidan Breen, who's come off, and number 24 who Shane McGullion has come off. So Ciarán Donnelly starting to make the changes as there's 2 points between the teams, 9 points to 7.
It was good to see Shane McGullion getting back into county play. He was one for the future a year or so ago, so we'd like to see him. He got injured, and now he's back in to do something himself.
Brandon Horn breaking forward there. 2 Fermanagh players seem to collide. I think it could be James McMahon who's gone down, head injury, so he has to stop it, and it'll continue with an Aontroim free, I would think. Communication might have been an issue, Peter, because Brandon Horn had broke it down to himself and was moving forward, whereas it's not. It's Declan McCusker. It's the captain.
Yeah.
Who clashed with him.
Look, in fairness, it was going to ground, and whoever thought they could get their hands on it had to go for it, and Decky did, and he got a big hit now. But I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But again,
Wyndon to talk about.
Yeah, another kick out that Aontroim kick out that Fermanagh didn't win. Win a few more of those now, we'd be in a much better position.
Now, it's Michael McCann. He finds a lovely ball in here in front of the Aontroim wing half forward, who was Ryan Murray. He's been tackled, and it was Luke Flanagan. Declan McCusker's away back in there again now. James McMahon who picks it up. Back to Declan McCusker here now, and Fermanagh have turned over the ball. They've definitely had the better of the play.
Yes, look, that was tremendous play by Luke Flanagan. He had no business getting near that ball, and then there was support around him to pick up the pieces.
And away we go again on that far side of the field. I think that's Shane McGullion. He's looking for support. He gives it to Ryan Jones. And over here now, it's come to Ciarán Corrigan trying to get inside the 45-metre line. He fists it to Sean Quigley. Back to Corrigan again. Corrigan was bottled up there. The pass wasn't back on to Ciarán Corrigan because he runs straight into a saffron wall, and Aontroim have it turned over on that far side of the field. It's the midfielder Kevin Small. He's got Dermot McAleese away like a hare on that far side of the field. He's been chased by McGullion. McAleese finds the substitute in over there, right footed, hitting that in, and the direction isn't there. It's going to be picked up by James McMahon on the 21-metre line. He's got Josh Largo Ellis on the stand side of the field. Josh gives it over there now, and it's Johnny Casty does well because the ball bounced at his feet. He picks it up, he wins his free, and he gives it over there now to possibly Garrett Kavanagh, and it's Garrett Kavanagh breaking forward on the far side of the field, finds a nice ball to Gary McKenna. McKenna chips it back to Ryan Jones. Jones changes his direction. He's heading towards the far side of the field. He's looking to find Sean Quigley. The ball bounces one time in front of Quigley. He fakes a shot in the left, turns back, gives it to Stephen McGullion. Back to Quigley again. And now it's back to Ryan Jones outside the 45 metre line. And Declan McCusker midway between the 45 and 65. Left footed pass in to Gary McKenna. McKenna does well. Fists it straight to the Aontroim full back, who's Ricky Johnson. And that's been turned over. Ball's been moved forward. There's a substitution coming on here now for Aontroim. It's number 22, Patrick McCormick. He's going to be coming on, and it seems as if it's Ryan Murray, who's had a very good game, Peter, between defence and attack.
Has worked extremely hard. Has managed to keep Josh Laguelos very, very quiet. Number 22, Patrick McCormick. He's another of these new players that Aontroim have brought in this year.
And immediately he wins that free gives it back to Michael McCann, and it's McCann over there that is picked up on the ground. Referee didn't see it and it's been played on. It's McCormick over there fisting it back to Patrick McAlee. And the ball now, it's into the hands of James Laverty, and James Laverty's coming down this stand side of the field. He's getting inside the 45 metre line, spins away from the challenge of Dara McGorn. That ball, that was Peter Healy. He didn't really fist it to anyone now, and Fermanagh with a great opportunity to break out here now. There's 3-4 Fermanagh players going forward, 2 inside. It's 2v2. Ryan Jones fists Declan McCusker. He's covered every blade of grass here now. Another goal opportunity if they can work it, but it comes to Gary McKenna. Right footed shot on the 21 metre line, a nice angle of a run. McKenna just hooked around and he puts that over the bar. The minimum between the teams now, Peter, 9 points to 8.
Well, all credit to Gary McKenna for kicking it over the bar, but I have to say that 3 relative newcomers to the team, the like of Johnny Cassidy, Garrett Kavanagh and Luke Flanagan, are doing tremendous work.
So the full back line then?
Yes, cutting out dangerous Aontroim attacks.
Because Aontroim haven't had a goal opportunity at all, whereas Fermanagh have had 3. So Barry Tiernan, the referee, blows his whistle now, and it's goalkeeper Oisin Kerr, left footed, going over to that far side of the field. That ball bobbles in the ground, and that's Patrick McCormick. There's 3 Fermanagh players around him, lucky to get a free. I can see that Ciarán Donnelly was not happy with that there. I mean, there was 3 Fermanagh players there, Peter. There was no need to foul.
Well, look, if they fouled him, there was certainly no need to foul. Yeah. And the problem is that when you get 3 players around an opposition man, the referee is inclined to think it's unfair, and if you do the slightest tug or pull or push.
Luke Flanagan doing well, but it's been picked up as well by Jamie Gribben, and now it's an Aontroim attack. It's Michael McCann breaking forward. He's got support from Kevin Small. Here's an opportunity here now. Small gets caught in his feet, takes a couple of challenges. Well done by Sean McNally, but Small picks it up, goes around, and he finds the net. 1-9 to 8 points. The Aontroim crowd are up here now, Peter. A kind of a sucker blow for Fermanagh. I thought they dealt with the initial attack, but the block down from Sean McNally comes straight back into the hands of Kevin Small. He rounded the keeper and put the ball into the net, and it's now a 4-point game.
Yes, well, I think we have to give great credit to Kevin Small. He got on the end of Michael McCann's pass, was burning on goals, was turned back, and then when his shot was blocked, as you say, he still had the composure to pick it up and find the net. And that's
and the kick out has been lost over to the far side of the field. It's gone out over the line, and it's going forward now. It's number 25. That's Conor Murray. Didn't see him come on, but he's got a good scoring opportunity here now in the 21 mid-line. Gets it through a couple of challenges, but it's Declan McCusker. Declan McCusker's been a real warrior for Fermanagh here now as well, Peter. So he has, between defence and attack, he's been everywhere as much as he can.
Yes, well, there's 12 minutes left, and he'll have to be a warrior if we're to pull this 4 points back. But we've been 4 or 5 points behind before, and have shown the composure to get scores.
Probably going to need a goal, though, I'd say, for Manach to get anything from this game. It's hard to see them getting the 4 points. 1-9 to 8 points, as you say. 12 minutes to go in this second half. It's Johnny Cassidy giving it over here now to Luke Flanagan, who's had a good game. Coming towards this stand side of the field, Luke Flanagan's going forward. giving it to Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones, only one man in there, Sean Quigley. He's found Ciarán Corrigan on the 45 metre line. Corrigan getting away from the challenge. He's in towards the 21. Gives it now to Gary McKenna, who got the last point. McKenna fisting it back here now to Luke Flanagan. And Luke Flanagan, he's looking to break forward. He's looking for support. He's going to give it to Johnny Cassidy. And now Johnny Cassidy, they're going to change the angle of attack over to the far side of the field. It's Garrett Kavanagh. Brandon Horan's there as well. Garrett Kavanagh trying to hit it into Sean Quigley. Pressure coming on from Owen McCabe, but Sean Quigley wins it eventually. He's trying to burrow forward. Referee eventually says that it was over carrying. There was 3 Aontroim players around the one for Monaghan, and he didn't get anything from referee Barry Tiernan there, Peter.
No, and in fairness, he was just smothered.
Yeah.
They had so many. The attack took so long to build to get the ball into him that they had as many men back as they needed. And funny as that as well, it gives them a lift. We don't get the score, which is bad enough, but it actually.
It's been a very professional performance from Aontroim here now, because when Fermanagh have had the good possessions of play, they've soaked up the pressure and dealt with it. And away they go on that far side of the field. It's James Laverty getting away from the challenge of Declan McCusker. He's got 3 Fermanagh players around him, gives it over there now to number 13, Thomas McCann, who's had a great game. McCann has been tackled by Shane McGullion. McGullion last ditch effort to try and block it. The ball dropped short, has been picked up by goalkeeper Sean McNally. Away he goes on this stand side of the field. He's got support. It's Josh Largo Ellis. Josh Largo Ellis is coming down the stand side of the field now. Dara McGorn's there as well, and so Stephen McGullion, and so is Garrett Kavanagh, but McGullion is tackled, gives it over now to Ryan Jones inside midfield, now inside the 65 metre line. Josh Largo Ellis giving it here to Garrett Kavanagh, and Garrett Kavanagh, he's going to find Shane McGullion. McGullion has to go hard, but it was intercepted. That's the full forward, Rory McCann, putting a high ball into Jamie Gribben. Gribben wins a wonderful mark. He was 1-on-1 in there, catching that ball. He's on the 13 metre line. A great opportunity to get another point and put 5 points between the teams. You would have to be impressed with how Aontroim have played here, Peter. There's no doubt about it.
And look, you'd be disappointed with Fermanagh giving the ball away at times. That was an attack that they had engineered fairly well, and then a loose crossfield ball that was cut out and ends up over the bar.
Oh, intercepted again. Tomas McCann's going in there. It's Rory McCann who's going for it now, sliding on the underfoot conditions. It's got a bit greasy out there now, I suppose. You can see the pitch cutting up in a couple of places as well.
Right,
play continues. It's Peter Healy here now between the 21 and the 14 metre line. No one immediately going towards him. Peter Healy still has it. He's going to give it towards midfield, and it's that man again, Michael McCann, who picks it up. Had a decoy runner, but McCann holds it on the 65 metre line, and I'm sure Aontroim are going to retain what they have here.
Yes, they don't have to force it now. Fermanagh have to force it, and that with
you're going to leave yourself open.
It leaves yourself open. It leads to mistakes. They can speculate. Look at, and this is about Fermanagh attacking with no sweeper.
That's number 25 getting away. Another goal opportunity on here now. Sean McNally makes a great save, but the referee has pulled it back. They'll be unhappy with it. Sean McNally had made the save. I think it was number 7, Dermot McAleese, who was going in to finish it, but the 6 seconds was up, and referee Barry Tiernan has pulled it back for a free in on the 13 metre line. It was a definite goal on there, and I can see how the management would be irate at that.
Yes, fair enough, but I think Barry Tiernan, in fairness to him, he let it go until the shot was saved, and then he blew it instinctively, not anticipating that it would be followed up. So if for a change, have some sympathy for him.
If it had been 7 seconds, we'd have been in trouble there.
Yeah, but this is 6 points. Like, this is 6 points, and we talked earlier on about the fact that Fermanagh had missed chances and had a couple of goal chances. But it's Aontroim now who are getting the goal chances because we're pushing up, leaving plenty of room at the back, 1-on-1. And it's difficult now. It's difficult. There's 7 minutes left. Fermanagh need a goal, and it's all Aontroim have to do is sit back and absorb all the pressure.
8 points, plays 111 as Fermanagh have the ball in between their own 45 and 65 metre line now. It's Ryan Jones over there. He gives it to James McMahon. Aontroim have tucked their defenders back. Number 25, Conor Murray, he's acting as a sweeper here now. They've several sweepers really, to be honest. Now play continues. Brandon Horn in the 45 metre line. Shooting opportunity, he's chipping that ball in. It's going to drop in round the square. Dara McGorn's going for it. Now it's been given back to the goalkeeper, who solos the ball and puts it out over the lane. So it'll be a 45, 5 metres to the right hand side of the post.
That high ball into a big full forward, it's a bit of a hark back to other days, but it does work if it's on the money and if it's one-on-one in there. But now Aontroim are able to get plenty of players back, and it rarely is one-on-one. The last time a high ball went into Sean Quigley, he had 3 men round him.
So Luke Flanagan has been replaced here. He's had a very good game, there's no doubt about that there. And number 23, Ciarán Bogues, coming on to replace him, bring a bit of size to the, no doubt, if Fermanagh's going to have to put high balls in here, the like of Ciarán Bogues going to help. That's gone in and it's gone wide eventually.
Well, look, I think that was a chip ball into the danger area from Sean Quigley, and there was no real good connection made on it inside. So I suppose we'll have to look at that as another chance gone a begging.
Kick out coming from goalkeeper Oisín Kerr here now. It's 111 to Aontroim, 8 points to Fermanagh. He's going long, and the ball in midfield has been picked up by Garrett Kavanagh. There was a foot in, so the referee says it'll be a free in, which has been taken, and that's Ciarán Bogue over on that far side of the field. He's moving inside the 45 metre line, looks to find Gary McKenna. The ball was on the laces of his boots, wasn't easy to pick up, and there's a kind of a scrum, and it's been picked up by the Aontroim defenders there. Now it's come to number 5, Peter Healy. And as Aontroim can break out here now, it's with their wing half forward, who's Patrick McBride, coming over here now to number 22, Patrick McCormick. 3 Fermanagh players around him. Goes back to the support player, who's Thomas McCann. He's been everywhere again for them, really. Gets away from the challenge of Gary McKenna and finds he finds James Laverty in midfield, getting inside the 45 metre line. He turns back, comes to Peter Healy, getting inside the 45 metre line, and now it's back here again to James Laverty. He gives it to Michael McCann. That kind of axis of Michael McCann, Tomas McCann and James Laverty
has been very, very effective.
They've been playing in a kind of a diamond, and it's whenever one of them has the ball and is in any pressure, he looks towards one of those other players to relieve it. The play is continuing with Rory McCann inside the 45 metre line. He's been chased by Garrett Kavanagh, but he gets away from that, hits it right footed, and that's gone over the bar. That's a good score because he absorbed all the pressure, Peter. And as the score now reads 112 to 8 points, and Aontroim are bringing on a change. They're bringing on number 24, Seamus McGarry, taking off Rory McCann, who just kicked that point. So that's the last action of Rory McCann. It's now a 7-point game.
Yes, well, the game has probably been over for the last 5-7 minutes or so. The goal was a game changer, I suppose. And look, in fairness, you'd have to compliment Aontroim on the way they've gone about their business.
Because Fermanagh had their best play for about 10 minutes in this second half, and Aontroim sucked up all that pressure and will end up outscoring Fermanagh in the second half as well.
Now Fermanagh are probably reduced to going for a goal. Yeah. What does that mean? It means a high ball in, hoping that somebody will get a touch on it or a clean catch, and the likelihood of that happening is quite slim, with the fact that Aontroim will have plenty of men back.
High ball coming in here now. Sean Quigley goes through his hands, and it's been picked up by Kevin Small. Small finds the goalkeeper Oisín Kerr, who's hitting it to this stand side of the field now, as Aontroim will get an opportunity to practice their counter-attack play, really, because with Fermanagh committing a lot of players to attack. That's Brandon Horn. That was a bad challenge on number 13, Thomas McCann.
It was a rash challenge. Now, he was late arriving.
He seemed to trip him.
Well, he went in. He led with his foot. Look, the referee would be entitled to give him a red card, but he probably won't. It'll be a yellow.
It's a black card.
A black card. Obviously, he's reading it as a trip, a deliberate trip. Well, it might as well have been a red card because,
well, he'll not get back on.
Oh, well, he won't get back on because not enough time. But I suppose at least he'll be available for the next game. That's what the red card would have meant.
That would have been the difference in that there.
So now,
I mean, a couple of the Fermanagh players are just asking that how was that a black? And some of the other incidents weren't.
Well, look at it. You know, Fermanagh's problems haven't lain at the door of the referee. They have missed chances and they have given the ball away on occasions. And then you have to compliment Aontroim on the way they've gone about their business. High work rate,
efficiency as well, Peter, and professionalism needed to a certain extent, because when their backs were against the wall, they were able to soak up the pressure. They're in attack here now. It's their number 22, who's Patrick McCormick. He gives it back to Seamus Maguire and to Michael McCann. And I mean, Aontroim have made a lot of changes, and they have been able to retain their playing system. It hasn't made a difference.
Yes, they'll be happy with that.
That's a good enough scoring opportunity here now for Seamus Maguire. Left-footed over the bar, 113 to 8 points, double scores now. 4 minutes of additional time.
And that's one of the subs who come on, and they haven't disrupted Aontroim's work rate or the way they've been playing.
So with 4 minutes to go, Peter, just a kind of a review of the game. Some positives for Fermanagh. There has been some good performances from Luke Flanagan, you mentioned, and Garrett Cavan, and from their full back line. Declan McCusker has fought hard. It's possibly just been their ability to convert. That was picked up off the ground. The referee was correct. It was Declan McCusker who picked that up off the ground, and it's going to be a free for Aontroim just inside their own 65-metre line.
Well, that pick up by Declan McCusker just sort of sums up a lot of what has happened to Fermanagh today. Any bright bursts they had, we keep talking about the couple of chances that we missed in the first half, but they're long forgotten now. Aontroim have won all but 10 minutes of the second half and been very efficient during that time.
And Aontroim have just brought off Tomas McCann, and they've brought on 26 Pat Shivers. Tomas McCann's he's had a fierce game, really, Peter. Got through with throws, no work. Got a couple of scores as well, and that's another good point by Dermot McAleese, the wing half back. 2 points, I make it that Tomas McCann got. 2 points for Ray McCann, 1 point for Oren Eastwood. That's 5 points on your inside forward line.
Yeah.
As well as their work rate.
You'd also, that's what I was going to say, you'd admire Aontroim's work rate as well. They have put pressure on Fermanagh at every opportunity.
114 to Aontroim plays 8 points for Fermanagh. I mean, with only a couple of minutes to go, as you say, very unlikely that Fermanagh is going to. But their scoring difference is something that you have to start to consider. With such a competitive division, every point will count.
Yes, so there'll have to be quite a bit of learning done very quickly. Aontroim will move forward from this confident that they can get points from quite a few of their games. Fermanagh, on the other hand, will have a bit of soul searching to do, I suppose is right.
Next Sunday, Fermanagh are away to Wicklow, which is not going to be a bit simple either. Fermanagh, of course, are starting off this Division 3 campaign playing the two promoted teams from Division 4. So we'll have a long journey to Aontroim next Sunday in a game where Fermanagh will be looking to get their first points, and Ciarán Donnelly still searching for his first win as well as Fermanagh manager.
It probably, I suppose, one thing that won't be there next Sunday is a serious expectation on Fermanagh. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing. You'd nearly prefer to have expectations there for all the right reasons. But I think after today, and we talked earlier on at the very beginning about how important the first match in these competitions is, and this has been the perfect start for Aontroim and a disastrous start for Fermanagh. I'm not sure what has
The
happened
play has
here.
stopped here as number 11, Jamie Gribben is down. He's just down in front of us. It'll continue with an Aontroim free on the far side of the field. So the play has been stopped now for about 45 seconds, I would imagine, and I'm sure this time will be added on at the end of the second half.
I'm quite sure that none of the Fermanagh players would begrudge the referee if he was to blow it up.
But the referee is going to talk to Ciarán Corrigan, and he has his notebook out, I would think, here as well. So it looks as if Jamie Gribben's going to come off, possibly with a spot of blood, I can see as well. So it'll be interesting just to see what referee Barry Tiernan makes of this challenge from Ciarán Corrigan. It's a yellow card.
Right, well, at least we're looking forward, or we're looking towards the next day, and that wasn't a red card, so we're okay. Brandon Horn got a black card, that wasn't a red. Maybe we need to start thinking about next Sunday.
Play continues, and it's been kicked inside the forward line. It's number 24, Seamus McGarry, got a point earlier on. He picks it up, comes to Pat Shivers, left-footed. I thought he was going to go for a shot, takes it into the 13-metre line, hitting that in, goes across the face of the goal. It's ended up wide, and with that, referee Barry Tiernan blows the full-time whistle. 1-14 to Aontroim, the final score. 8 points to Fermanagh. Not much more we can really say, Peter.
No, we came into this game with a lot of hope and a lot of expectations. In fairness, as did Aontroim. We stressed the importance of the first game. It certainly hasn't gone our way. A chastising defeat at the end of the day.
But a learning one too. With some of at the start of the game, we talked about the young players blended with the experienced one. The experienced boys have seen this all before. For some of the young boys, it's their first experience of a kind of a gut-wrenching defeat, really, because I'm sure they were coming into this, as you say, full of expectation and hope and excitement, and it really has been a deflating defeat.
Yes, but trying to pluck some encouragement from it. Johnny Cassidy, Gareth Kavanagh and Luke Flanagan certainly had their moments, and quite a few of them. Joe McDade was unfortunate to get injured. Josh Largo-Ellis was very, very well handled by Ryan Murray.
This is a learning curve for the like of Josh Largo-Ellis as well, because he is that kind of player who does link the defence and attack, so he can expect the like of this to happen from now on.
And you see, he that didn't happen to him previously because nobody knew about him. Now they know about him, and things become slightly more difficult. Brandon Horn, all of those boys did good things. Just overall, we didn't do enough good things, and Aontroim had the like of Michael McCann, who was very dominant.
Impressive,
very impressive, both as defensively and in how he used the ball and the calmness with which he brought to the proceedings. Ricky Johnson and Owen McCabe, James McCauley, those boys dealt with anything that they was thrown at them in there, anything that Sean Quigley and Darren McGoran could come up with. To have backline, Peter Healy, James Laverty and Dermot McAleese would all be pleased with their contribution.
Yeah.
And then the forwards inside, Odrin Easton caused serious problems. Rory McCann. It was...
Well, a positive about league, Peter, is there's another game coming, and you have to just forget about it, because Wicklow's coming next week, and they're going to be ready for battle as well. Yes,
well, they're playing tomorrow. We don't know how they're going to do. I think they're playing Laois tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure about that, but this has been a big step forward for Aontroim. They're down there now in the huddle.
I'm just looking at Andy McGinnity talking to them here.
Yeah, this is exactly what they wanted to build a platform going into the league. And I suppose from our point of view, we are now on the back foot and need to get points on the board. Need to learn as much as we possibly can in a week to see where this brings us. But I suppose in a way, we don't know how good Aontroim are until we see how we prefer against the other teams.
It'll take it a couple of weeks to see how it goes. Well, with that, Peter, thanks very much for your contribution to the game today, and thanks very much to our listeners to this Fermanagh GAA TV broadcast on the radio. We're very grateful to you, and to our sponsors, Monaghan Brothers. Thanks to the technical team here as well. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. Hope to see you again soon, and until then, slán.
How you doing?